Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back to Miss Vida English Online. Masih dalam pembahasan salah satu mata kuliah sintaks, yaitu sekarang kita akan membahas tentang syntactic forms and grammatical function. Baik, kita akan lihat satu persatu apakah itu syntactic form dan grammatical function. Baik, kita akan mulai dari pembahasan syntactic form. Syntactic form adalah bentuk-bentuk yang menyusun suatu kalimat. So in English, sentences are constructed by a rule that combines a noun phrase and a verb phrase. Bahwa bentuk-bentuk yang menyusun kalimat itu biasanya adalah terdiri dari frase-frase, dan yang paling utama frasenya yang harus ada adalah a noun phrase dan verb phrase. Contoh kalimat yang ada kita seperti bisa lihat di sini, the monkey scratched a boy on Monday. Dalam kalimat the monkey scratched a boy on Monday, we will split it into 4 phrases, yaitu the monkey. Frase the monkey merupakan frase kata benda atau noun phrase. And then scratch, this is the verb phrase. And then a boy, this is the noun phrase. And on Monday, this is the prepositional phrase. So in syntactic form, we will analyze the sentences based on the phrase that construct the sentence, berdasarkan frasa yang menyusun kalimat tersebut. Oke. Dari frase itu kita akan pecah menjadi sintaktiknya, bahwa the monkey noun phrase-nya terdiri dari the sebagai determiner dan monkey sebagai noun-nya. Scratch atau verb phrase terdiri dari satu kata, yaitu scratch saja yang merupakan verb. And then kita juga punya noun phrase lagi, a boy adalah terdiri dari a sebagai determiner and boy sebagai noun. The last phrase we have prepositional phrase. Prepositional phrase terdiri dari dua kata on and Monday, di mana on adalah prepositionnya dan Monday is a noun. So this is the syntactic form of the sentence, the monkey scratched a boy on Monday. The next discussion, we will discuss about the grammatical function. Grammatical function is the syntactic role of a word or phrase in the context of particular clause or sentence. So in grammatical function, role yang menyusun dalam kalimat adalah kalimat itu terdiri dari word atau phrase yang kedudukannya mempunyai arti in a sentence, ya, in the context of particular clause or sentence. Biasanya kita kenal dengan nama subject, verb, object, complement, and adverbial. Okay, we will see it one by one. For example, masih dalam kalimat the monkey scratched on a boy on Monday, kalimat ini tersusun oleh kata-kata yang menduduki fungsinya di dalam kalimat. The monkey in this sentence is a subject, atau kita bisa tulis dengan S. Scratch in this sentence is a predicate. A predicate atau kita tulis pred. And a boy in this sentence is an object, or we can write O. On Monday in this sentence is the complement, or we can use compl, C-O-M-P-L. So this is artinya keterangan. Yes. Okay, now we will see one by one about the kinds of grammatical function. Okay, kita akan lihat pembahasan satu persatu dari grammatical function. The first function we have subject. Apakah subject? Subject is a person or thing that is being discussed, described, or dealt with. Jadi subject adalah sesuatu yang dibicarakan, sesuatu yang dijelaskan, atau sesuatu yang berkaitan dengan verb itu sendiri. Okay, in English, subject must agree in number with the verb. Subject harus menyesuaikan dengan verbnya. For example, here we have the student runs or the students run. The student is a singular, so we put s in the last word of the verb runs, and then after that the students is a plural, so we don't put s in the verb, so we just use run like that. And then never being preceded by a preposition. Subject tidak pernah diikuti oleh preposition. Jadi ketika ada kata benda yang diikuti preposition, dia bukan subject. For example, we have here with his friend. This is preceded by preposition with, so his friend is not a subject. Where's the subject? The subject is Alan. So after we know Alan is singular, the subject is Alan. So that's why the verb we put as visits the museum, like that. Okay, after that the noun they pick out in a given clause is grammatically subject of that clause, and subject is always NP. So this is you have to remember bahwa subject itu selalu noun phrase. Subject can be a pronoun or subject can be a clause. In here we call it noun clause as a subject, and subject can be substituted by a pronoun. Okay, so setelah subject we use object. Object is we have a direct object and an indirect object. A direct object is undergoing the process denoted by the verb, and an indirect object is which precedes a direct object. Jadi direct object adalah yang objek pasti sama dengan subjek, harus berbentuk NP, bahwa direct object adalah yang langsung dikenai tindakan oleh kata kerjanya, sedangkan indirect object itu tidak langsung, jadi sifatnya optional. Okay, so we can see here OD or object direct cannot usually be omitted. Jadi direct object itu tidak bisa dihilangkan from the clause without a radical change. Jadi nanti akan ada radical change in meaning. Sedangkan indirect object is semantically equivalent to a prepositional phrase. Biasanya direct object itu bisa disamakan dengan prepositional phrase seperti to dan for. Or you can see here give me the book, itu bisa sama juga dengan give the book to me. So this is indirect object. Book, me is indirect object. Book is the direct object. Indirect object biasanya berbentuk prepositional phrase with to or for, seperti yang tadi kita sudah bahas. And then indirect object usually occurs before direct object, biasanya ada di sebelum direct object ya, kecuali jika memakai prepositional phrase. Ketika memakai preposition to dan for, dia akan ada di belakang. Tapi ketika tidak memakai to or for, dia akan ada di depan noun phrase-nya. And indirect object itu menjadi subject melalui passification atau bisa menjadi kalimat pasif, sedangkan direct object tidak. And then after the object we have a verb. A verb is a word used to describe an action, a state, or occurrence to forming the main part of the predicate of a sentence. So verb biasanya membentuk predikat di dalam kalimat. Verb is always a verb phrase. Semua frase adalah kata kerja atau predikat. And verb comes after the subject dalam kalimat positif. Verb ada di setelah subject. And verb bisa mempunyai elemen dari tenses, bisa berubah-ubah sesuai dengan tensesnya. And verb shows the concord with the number. Jadi verb harus agreed with the subject. harus sesuai dengan subjeknya. For example, the dogs bark. The dog one come barks. I think you know it, yeah. That's the verb. We continue to complement. Complement in Indonesia is kata keterangan. Complement is word, phrases, or clauses governed by a verb that complete the meaning of the predicate. Jadi dia melengkapi arti dari predikat itu. So we call it complement. For example, here we have John put books in the box. In the box is complete the predicate put. Taruh di mana? Taruh di dalam kotak. Jadi kalau hanya bilang John put books is not complete. Tapi kalau bilang John put books in the box is more complete. The meaning is more complete. And then the second example is John talked to Bill about the exam. Talk to Bill about the exam makes the complete make it complete for the word talk. Jadi kalimat-kalimat yang digarisbawahi itu adalah we call it complement. Dan mereka tidak bisa dihilangkan supaya kalimat tersebut menjadi lengkap. Bedanya dengan modifier, modifier juga adalah keterangan, tetapi in here, which do not complement the predicate, or it means which are truly optional. Jadi modifier adalah keterangan yang optional, pilihan. Jadi ketika di-omit, ketika dihilangkan, dia tidak merubah makna dari kalimat tersebut. For example, we have the bus stopped suddenly. Suddenly, ini is optional. Ketika kita bilang the bus stopped saja, it's already know that the bus already stop atau berhenti. Call it the bus stopped. So suddenly adalah pelengkap yang optional. So you can delete it or you can omit it. And then we have Shakespeare wrote his plays a long time ago. So and then we have they went to the theater in London. And he failed chemistry because he can't understand it. So the italicized expression here are all optional. This is optionals. This is optionals also. This is optional. So if you read without these phrases, you can still know the meaning of the sentence. That's the difference between modifier and complement. Okay. The last thing that we have to do is to make a tree structure of a form and function together. For example, we have the sentence here, the little cat devoured a mouse. In here, we have to make a tree structure first. The first one, we put S in here. And after that, we have to identify per phrases. Jadi di-identify secara berdasarkan frase-frase yang ada. Dalam kalimat the little cat devoured a mouse terdapat tiga frase, yaitu the little cat, devoured, and a mouse. Secara function juga terdapat 3 function, yaitu sebagai subjek. Saya akan lingkari subjeknya the little cat. Lalu ada devoured, yaitu the predikat, and a mouse is a noun. Ya, oke. Nah, ketika kita akan membuat tree structure, kita sudah tahu functionnya, lalu kita akan menggabungkan form and function. For example, in here we have the little cat is a noun phrase, and this is as a subject, kedudukannya sebagai subjek. Lalu kalian nanti pecah. The itu determinernya, itu adjektifnya, and cat adalah nounnya. Okay, the second one that you have to make is the branch for VP atau pred. Jadi VP yang berkedudukan sebagai predikat. And then di sana kita punya verbnya yaitu devoured. And a mouse is NP, bagian dari VP. We call it NP sebagai object. We have determiner and then we have noun mouse. That is the tree structure when you mix form and function together. Baik, Sekarang kita akan coba membuat tree structure dari contoh kalimat yang telah kita bahas tadi, yaitu the monkey scratched a boy on Monday. Kita akan buat tree structure-nya ketika form and. So we will put the form and the function together in the tree structure of a monkey scratched a boy on Monday. So we already know that the monkey is the subject, scratch is the predicate, and a boy is the object, and on Monday is the complement. In here, we write as first sentence, and then we make two main branches, yaitu subject and VP sebagai predicate. Kenapa dua? Karena dalam satu kalimat itu harus terdiri, dalam bahasa Inggris, satu kalimat harus terdiri dari subject dan predicate. So we use here the subject of this sentence is the monkey. The monkey is the noun phrase. So after that we make two branches, yaitu determiner for the, and then we have a noun for monkey. So we call it noun phrase as a subject. And then after that we have verb phrase as a predicate. Karena kata kerjanya hanya satu, jadi kita hanya membuat satu cabang, and then we put V atau verb, and then we put the line to scratch. After that, we have a boy on Monday. A boy on Monday adalah masuknya noun phrase. Noun phrase ya, kita lihat yang ini dulu. Noun phrase, and then in noun phrase of object, we have determiner and noun, yaitu determinernya adalah dan nounnya adalah boy. And also in noun phrase kita punya PP, prepositional phrase, yaitu on Monday. Dia termasuk di NP-nya ini ya. Nah, PP sebagai complement, keterangan saja. Terdiri dari preposition yaitu on dan terdiri dari noun yaitu Monday. So this is the tree structure when you mix form and function together in a sentence or a clause. Next, you can see the other video when I make a tree structure with marker. Okay, we go to the exercise. Number 1. They played in the rain. Where is the subject? Now kita akan mencoba mencari mana subjeknya, mana predikatnya, dan mana objeknya. In here, they played in the rain. They adalah subjeknya, played adalah predikatnya, in the rain adalah, yes, in the rain is the complement, like that. So I think you can learn this and do it by yourself later. And also the tree structure, you can make the tree structure with me, and don't forget to ask if you don't understand, or ask in the column below. Thank you very much for watching, and we will meet again in another video. Bye.